Hey, this is Evans at Motorcycle.com, and we are here at the Long Beach IMS Media Day, looking to see what the 2017 model year has in store for us, and getting a nice shave. The good news is there's a lot of cool stuff going on. It's sort of the end of the show season for the media, and the beginning in the U.S. For you consumers out there to go out and actually see these 2017 bikes. And there's a lot of cool stuff in store for all of us next year. What do you think the trends are, guys?
Well, a trend for certain is going to be the 300s, the small displacements, and the adventure category, and small displacement adventure category specifically. You know, you've got the new
Isn't that a new category altogether almost, with the exception of CSC?
Yeah, CSC, we did that a couple of years ago. They were kind of the first one to market with the small displacement, and now we've got Honda on board with the CRF 250L Rally. We've got BMW with the G310 GS. Both of these bikes are at the show. It was the first time for me to see those in person.
The V-Strom 250.
Yes?
The Versys X300.
Yeah.
It's growing like wildfire.
Yep.
Yeah. Like mushrooms are cropping up.
Well, I think it boils down to the manufacturers realize they got to get new blood in the game, and you can't just keep selling Ninja 300s all day long. You got to branch out.
Well, there's got to be even we complain about, you know, the large adventure touring bikes.
And they're just so huge.
600 pounds, you know, and 150 horsepower in our last adventure test. You know, I think every single one of those bikes took a spill at one time or another, and I'll tell you, if we were riding on 300cc bikes, we all probably would have made that unscathed.
And that was one of the cool bikes I like to see, because we had the Multistrada, the big one with us on our last adventure, but now there's a 950, which is not a lot smaller, but it should be, you know, a little bit lighter. But you don't get all the bells and whistles. It'll be more affordable too.
Well, KTM has that with the new 1090 versus the 1290.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, and speaking of KTM, right, not exactly a trend, but except for KTM seemingly just rocket ship to the top of everything, man, those guys are just on a tear. And
Amazing.
Today was the first time for me to see the new Super Duke R in person. They might think they just kind of revised it a little, but actually it's a lot of new bike there.
And what they're packing into it electronically with the different packages. They have the track focus package that'll give much more tunability, and the street package. I think that the electronics, the tunability of that will be an interesting advancement for the Super Duke.
And the other KTM that was here at the show that I got to see in person for the first time, the Super Adventure R. And you know, same with like the Super Duke, man, it gets you excited. That thing's just awesome to look at. There's a nice press launch coming up for it in South America. I'm not going to that one, but that's going to be another just rockin' motorcycle from KTM this year.
Do we see anything here that we didn't see at EICMA already?
Yeah, we did see things here for the first time. Honda had their world debut of the two new Rebel models last night, actually.
The
We got a
Rebel
little sneak preview last night
300
before the
and
show.
500.
They've got the Rebel 300 and the Rebel 500. Direct from Japan. What I want to say, Kita-san?
Kita-san.
He's a super enthusiastic guy who works at Honda, who designed those bikes that we met here today, and we're probably, you know, maybe we'll take him to lunch, go on a little lunch ride in a week or two and get a little bit more inside information about those bikes, which might not be my particular cup of tea. But a lot of young people, the prices are right, and they're kind of interesting, and they're based on the 500s, the 500 Twin that's in the CB 500F and 500X, which is a great little motor. So it's probably a fun bike to ride, and if you like the way it looks or not is open to discussion.
Well, what I think about the design of these bikes is brilliant, is it's the same frame for both the 300 and the 500, so that keeps the cost of production down, which will be passed on to the consumers. And also how the rear fender and subframe are cast aluminum pieces, so when it's on, you can have a passenger seat, or you can take it off and have a really, you know, sort of modern naked bobber type of look to it, which is pretty cool looking.
Kind of the bike that knocked my socks off here was when I was walking past the Honda and I saw the CBR 1000 RR that they have parked out there in the red, white, and blue paint scheme. I thought it was a RC 213 when I was walking up to it, like, oh, cool bike. And it's the new CBR 1000. It looks really cool in person.
Which is we've talked about this before at I think EICMA and the AIMExpo shows that, yeah, I mean, Honda's back in the game with the, 3 new CBRs, right? You got a base model and 2 SP versions, and then also Suzuki is back in the game. We reported on this last year was the
they had the prototype.
Yes, the concept.
Yes.
And now finally it's here. It's in person. They haven't done the press launch on it yet. I think that's coming up sometime soon. But we got 2 leader bikes to really look forward to this year.
We might have to do a Superbike Comparo again this year.
Damn. Oh, darn it.
Damn the luck.
And on the 600 field, there's the new R6. So I like the fact that the new R6 has the aerodynamic fairings that are, I think, 15% more aero than it was last year, I think they said. Electronics, better suspension, that's all great, but I'm a bit disappointed that it's still using the old engine from before.
I see your point, but at the same time, I don't think that the sport bike market can support, especially the 600 class, can support such a big change all at once. By breaking it up over a year or a couple of years, they can absorb the R&D costs a little bit better. And I think in a year or 2, you'll get to ride a new engine on that improved platform, and you'll be all happy.
The coolest bike I saw here today was the new Buell Black Lightning, which, we didn't really expect that one coming. I hadn't really heard anything about that before, but it's the 1190SX that we really loved. And Buell lowered the seat a little bit. Did he raise the handlebars a little bit too? I think he lowered the whole bike, he said, a little bit, huh? So
And he also changed the gearing.
It shortened the gearing up a little bit to make it better for around town. And the thing's a striking looking motorcycle to me. I like the blacked out. I've always liked the Buell. The XBs were always the first one with the Verlicke built gas in the frame, and that continues on with the SX and the RX, and on with the Black Lightning, which is all murdered out black. It looks cool. And it was cool that Eric was here. You talked to him?
Yeah, I talked to Eric earlier today, and he was talking to me about how he has an SX personally, and he was tweaking it to make it a more comfortable street ride, feely rider type of thing, tweaking, making it lower, putting different pegs, making the bars higher, and he thought to himself, why don't I just make a whole new model out of this? And then behold, the Black Lightning.
I'm really excited about the new Kawasaki Zs. I think that they look pretty cool. I know that you got a chance to ride the Z650 yesterday.
I just rode the Z650 for the first time yesterday. The story went live this morning, Motorcycle.com, Kawasaki Z650 first ride review. Check it out. It's a good one. But yeah, that 650, I really wasn't expecting much out of it because I've ridden the Ninja 650s before and the ER6Ns before that. But they've dropped 20 odd pounds from the thing.
The odd ones were the ones that were annoying me. So
but Kawasaki dropped 20 odd pounds from the thing, made it look, to my eyes, very attractive. And it's, I don't know, it's a whole new bike in my mind, even though it's got the same engine as before. That reduction in weight just transforms it into a really, really fun motorcycle.
And they've got the Z900 down there as well, right?
I think the styling of the Z900 is a little bit more subdued than on the Z1000, and I think that because I tend to go towards more middleweight size engine, I think the drop in displacement will really please me. I'm excited about it. I can't wait to get a chance to throw a leg over it and ride it.
And Kawasaki also has, again, the small displacement adventure bike, the Versys 300X.
Versus X300.
Sorry, I knew that was going to be backwards.
versus
The new Versys X300 that's going to be coming out.
So if I were to take out my tea leaves right now and take a look at the name, because of the way it's set up, it's Versys-X. I'm wondering if this is the beginning of a new line of Versys. So we might have the Versys X650, the Versys X1000. What do you think?
Versys XH2.
Ooh.
That's what we need.
not street legal.
So,
You have to
let's
ride it
take
in the
a pen
dirt.
out and see what we have to say in a year or two about it.
Have we talked about scramblers yet?
Okay, well, Ducati has 2 new scramblers, but when I think scrambler, I think of sort of dirt-capable bike. And Ducati really stressed about how the desert sled was not just a tarted-up base model. They had engineered the chassis, frame and suspension to be able to handle actual off-road duty. Not big whoops and stuff, but real-world sort of off-road riding, which I think is different from what BMW did with the R9T, which they gave a longer. The R9T Urban GS, the Urban in there is a little bit of a giveaway. is it's got the longer travel suspension, which would be good in surmounting potholes and the type of off-roading you encounter in the city. And it's got knobbies, but I don't think it's really set up for more than dirt roads.
So similar to the R9T Scrambler that we just tested recently, just kind of a dressed-down version of the standard R19 model with lesser suspension, non-aluminum tank. It's not, it's got some knobby tires on it, but it's not a real off-road model.
This year we get the R9T Racer, the R9T Urban GS, the R9T Scrambler, and we've got the R9T Pure coming up later in the year. And so that's pretty exciting. So they're all sort of premium motorcycles, but they're a step away from the BMW performance mark standard that we're used to seeing, and they're broadening their scope of customer, it seems like.
Well, it's funny you mention that because BMW, I said in the review, they totally got caught out by the popularity of the R9T. That's why it took them 2 years to start coming up with these new models based on the original R9T, because they had no idea that it was going to sell the numbers that it did. So, but now we got with just a flood of new kind of R19 models coming in, which is really cool.
I mean, there's a similar trend with the Scrambler, Ducati Scrambler line too. I mean, they're branching out a bajillion different models. Fortunately, there's one Ducati that's not here today, the Cafe Racer, the Ducati Scrambler Cafe Racer. That's not on the showroom floor this evening, but the pictures of it from EICMA, I think it looks killer. That's such a cool motorcycle.
I agree.
I think the coolest, possible future Scrambler would be this cool Indian brought the FTR 750 flat track racer that Brian Smith won the GNC, is it still GNC, championship with this past season that just ended. Brian Smith was here. I'm taller than him, which is pretty hip.
Oh wait, Brian didn't win on the
Oh, well, he won on the Kawasaki. He's the defending champion. But his next year's FTR 750 is here. And they always told us that's a race-only motor, but I don't really believe them. I think if they're going to do something, it'd be cool to make a Scrambler out of that thing, or the Sports Scout we've been waiting for, or could be a Scrambler Scout. Anyhow, it's kind of cool that there's a whole diversity going on. There's tons of stuff. It's exciting stuff. It's fun.
Wow. That's a lot of stuff we've seen at this show and the other shows leading up to this. If you're at all interested, Progressive International Motorcycle Shows has 6 more events planned between now and mid-February. I'm sure since it's going all over the country, there'd be something within a reasonable distance of travel for you, and you really owe it to yourself to go there and see all the cool new motorcycles that are available, and probably score yourself some discounts on some gear, because vendors are always offering show deals. That's it. Tune in to Motorcycle.com for our eventual coverage of testing these bikes, and we'll see you soon. You may be wondering why John and I look so good and clean cut in this video. It's because Flo's Chop Shop is giving complimentary straight razor shaves. And for each shave they give, they donate $10 to the November Foundation, which is a charity for men's health. So while other people are being hairy and scruffy for the cause, we decided to expose our inner selves.
Mitt Romney.
Smooth as a baby pop.